That's impressive, right? I'm surprised he put that throwback picture up because I'm not sure I would have done it, you know what I mean? But such is life. Everyone's got their options. But I'm sure so many people have questions. We'll take some questions from the online audience as well just after. We'll start in the room yet again. We've got first hand up on the right. Do we have the mic anywhere? Where did we leave it? Okay. Just up here in the front.
Is it working? All right.
Yeah,
hey, I'm Daniel. With graduate schemes and internships, with it being very competitive, what's the tips for application? How to stand out? How do I get as many offers as possible?
It's a great question. Thank you.
Should I take it?
Yeah, go for it, please.
For me, I would say the one thing that I overlooked quite a lot was that most of the applicants that are applying for these graduate schemes and internships will have the same qualifications as you. They'll be studying some form of engineering at university. They might even be doing Formula Student. So to me, the thing that I had to focus on was standing out from that. And it meant that instead of focusing on just the technical, which everyone had, to be applying for it, you had to qualify for certain qualifications anyway. It was about finding something outside of that curricula that will make me stand out, whether it's hobbies, interests. It doesn't have to be technical or related to Formula One or motorsport. It can be a hobby that you're just learning, picked up, but it means that you're a well-rounded person. And at the end of the day, whatever your role you do apply for, you're going to end up working with other human beings. So you have to get along with people and have interests, and they have to make sure that you're actually a three-dimensional person that they can get along with at the end of the day. So having that relatable aspect as well of just being a well-rounded human is definitely very important and something that's overlooked quite a lot when it comes to competitive applications.
Amazing, thank you. We'll take one from online first and then we'll go over there.
So Steve Markham has asked about role models, but you've talked about Lewis Hamilton and various other role models.
He's the role model now.
Yeah, so I'm going to twist the question a bit and ask, how have you coped when there hasn't been role models? Because you guys are in a minority.
I'll take that, yeah.
The resident role model. So.
So I think my role models have always been family members, whether that be my sister, my mum, my brother-in-law. Keep it close to home, I would say. So look at those around you in the community as well as your direct network in terms of who can support you and believe in you. You just need that one person to believe in you, in what you want to do and what you want to achieve in life, whether that's your career, whether that's through education, that one person to always have your back. An example was after I did my placement year at BMW, my third year, I struggled and I didn't want to finish my third year. I wanted to quit, but my brother-in-law, my sister's husband, he was like, right, you can do it. You can finish the course, and it will lead to better things. So I think having that one person that you can have to believe in you, even in this room, if you don't have that one person, then mentorship. There's loads of us here, we're all in a similar boat. Just having that one person you can relate to and bounce ideas back and just have that good relationship with, definitely.
Yeah, it's a great answer. I would also chip in there and say sometimes you've got vertical relationships which are like role models, but also the horizontal relationships. So all of you in the room, your pairs with one another, sometimes that is actually the strongest relationship in terms of pushing you to get to that next level. So I would say don't undervalue the people that you have right next to you in this very room. Those people can become your business partners, the people that you study with, to excel in any course that you're trying to do, the people that you might end up in companies with later. You just don't know. So I would say don't undervalue that as well for the person online. Yeah. Amazing. You had a question just back there.
Once again, thank you for sharing your stories with us. For both of you, it seems like you've been through many different roles to get to where you are today. My question is, did you always find it interesting, or were there cases where sometimes you just do something to get to the next step, and perhaps you couldn't find the next step interesting?
It's a great question. What's your name, by the way?
Tamu.
Tamu, nice. Great question.
I'd say that, yeah, definitely especially coming out of university, knowing I wanted to do Formula One and getting to that stage where I was about to graduate and seeing that I didn't get the graduate schemes that I wanted was definitely a difficult point. But I'd say that, especially for me, because I still had the interest in automotive, it meant that it gave me a backup option, but also an option that it wasn't just a backup, I was actually interested in. So I definitely say keep your options open, and if it doesn't come to you in that first application, which for me it definitely didn't. I still have the notes app in my phone of like all the rejections that I had. It's literally like 50, 60, 70 odd applications, rejections, all of them. So I'd say that the redirection isn't a bad thing. And especially when it comes to industries like engineering, you're always going to have transferable skills that you can move on to the next role for. Whether that's within automotive, like I did at McLaren, or whether it's what I'm doing now with America's Cup. I mean, I know nothing about boats. I came into the role knowing absolutely nothing. They talk about port and starboard. I'm like, I don't know what that means. So I had a lot to learn, but it meant that it put me that step ahead of just gaining as much skills as I could to then use that in the industry that I am interested in. So transferable skills is definitely something that is not to be overlooked, for sure.
That's a great one. Do you have anything? It's up to you.
Yeah, I think Biiftuu summed it up fantastically. I think your transferable skills is key. And in terms of roles that I've done previously compared to what I'm doing now, certainly. So that time period when I was at McLaren GT, I wanted to break into F1. I didn't think it would be possible. So it's a case of sticking out with the roles that you can do and make that tough decision. So I actually left McLaren and then I came back. So the fact that they saw I could do the job role somewhere else, they were quite keen to employ me back at McLaren once I proved I could do the role. So yeah, definitely keep your options open. Don't funnel yourself into one particular route. And if you need to do different particular roles, like you say, it shows different transferable skills which could be useful later in your career.
Amazing. And a lot of times, it's only when you do something that you'll find out that you're interested in it as well. Most things I've done, I realize I'm not interested in it, and that's okay. It's just process of elimination. So, yeah, just explore, expose yourself, be a sponge. Got a question over there? This is actually working. It's not too bad. You're doing good.
Hi, my name is Anas, and I just wanted to ask Biiftuu, you said you are doing Formula student in university, and that's something that I wanted to do when I entered university, so I just wanted to ask what it's like.
What it's like?
What Formula
Yeah, what
student
it's
is
like.
like, yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah, sure. So yeah, at A-level time, I knew I wanted to do Formula student when I joined university. Got to uni, and I was so scared. I was like, I'm too scared to apply. So maybe I'll do it next year. And I plucked up the courage, because a lot of the time when it comes to universities, they choose sort of third and fourth years to be a part of the Formula student team, because they know that they've got projects that they're doing for their bachelor's and their master's dissertations. And so it meant that early on, so first and second years, you really had to be committed. There was like an application form to make sure that you're not sort of joining the team and then dropping out with responsibilities that have to be picked up by other people. So in that sense, it was quite rigorous to get onto the team. But once you are on the team, I feel like once they realize that you are passionate and you're dedicated, that's all you need. And in my second year, when I did join the team, I literally only had like little jobs here and there. It was like making a bracket or designing this part to hold something in place. It wasn't like any big design projects, but it meant that I was picking up that experience, making those connections within the team. They knew that they could depend on me, whether the job was big or small. And it meant that when it came to my third year, I would manage to have the opportunity to do a bigger project on the team. So definitely don't undermine those first 2 years, even if you don't get onto the team, because it means that you can still show that you are interested. And then in your third and fourth years, depending on the university, then you can do projects related to the team as well.
Amazing. Will you take 1 to 2 more questions? Do you have any? Yeah? Yeah, you first. We just need to...
Hi. Question to James. How did you find making the decision to leave your dream job to then join Driven by Us?
It was quite simple, I think. I think once you see the community and the impact it can have, helping others, it's kind of a no-brainer. You have your dream job, but your dream changes. Once you reach there, you can adjust and see what you can do for others. I've always liked helping people. I think growing up, I wanted to do physiotherapy, but being traditional African mum.
This is your therapy?
Yeah, well, I like helping people. I'm helping people in a
Something
different...
every day. Learn something every day.
So yeah, mum's like doctor, lawyer, engineer. She still doesn't know what cars is, but yeah. So
I know the pain.
changing it up. So helping people in a different way through STEM, engineering, and media, through Driven by Us is it's fantastic. I never thought it would be kind of what it is currently, where it's a big community supporting the network within the industry, as well as supporting the up and coming and bringing those through from grassroots to the next level. So yeah, live your dream, do your dream, and see how you can change it afterwards.
Amazing. Any questions at the back? I realize I don't want to neglect anyone at the back. If you've got a question, feel free. We'll take one at the front. Dan, go for it. One more question.
What advice can you give to someone starting up in the industry to stand out?
Yeah, so it's the standout side again. Do you have anything on that? I guess Biiftoo's kind of answered that in some way. Do you have anything, James?
To stand out from the crowd, I would say your experience. So Biiftuu kind of mentioned a lot of the peers will have the same kind of degree or going through an apprenticeship, the same kind of, on paper to employers, look similar. Typically employers will look for what, like you say, stands you out, and that sometimes will be the experience you have in the particular industry. So volunteering your time free of charge and working at lower level categories in the role you want to venture into, or just the field and the area you're interested in, is a key way to go into it. So I can go back to my time at McLaren Automotive. Doing that 2 weeks work experience was very little pay, but it was kind of the experience and exposure I needed to kind of bulk out my CV, and then to show them, to a company with the degree, that I can work in the industry with the skills obtained. So keep knocking at employers' doors, and they would give you an opportunity to kind of showcase your talents, and then that can bulk out your CV. So when you go for other applications and other job roles, you will be successful.
I guess just to add to that as well, sort of while I was doing my A-levels and applying to university, I also used to go to I think I don't know if they still do it now, but UCL used to do Friday afternoon free lectures for just the general public, which I really, really loved.
Imperial do that as well.
Do they? Yeah. So just things outside of school like that you can attend that you're genuinely interested in. Don't just do it to write it down, but actually go to the ones that you are interested in. Things like reading relevant books. There are loads of books that you can look up just online, depending on the degrees that you're interested in, if a degree is what you want to do. And also things like Insight Days. So now as a STEM ambassador, I support quite a few Insight Days at Mercedes as well. So they do on-site events for people who might be interested in STEM and engineering, to take tours of the factory and get to know more about people that work there and what they do day to day. So things like work experience weeks. So there's all these things that you can do during the summer holidays, for example, that you can just write down on your CV and be like, you know what, I attended this and this is what I learned out of it and this is what I got out of it. And you can that way also network and get to know people within the industry as well. And I think, especially with the role that I have now, I actually got through networking. So I attended an Insight Day at Mercedes in my, I think, second year of university. And I met my now manager there. He joined us for the networking lunch hour. And he introduced himself, said what he did, and I was like, I want to work on your team. I really want to work on your team. He was the head of powertrain integration at the time. And powertrain was what I was interested in because it was what my third year project was about. And that's where I met him for the first time. And after that, I literally used to pester him on LinkedIn and be like, hi, just checking in. I'm doing my third year now. I'm doing this and that, looking for a placement, for example, and he'd give me advice. So those sort of insight events are definitely so useful just for networking. And I definitely think that that's the reason that I have the role I have now.
Amazing. We've got for one more question from online, and then we'll take it from there.
This is a question from me. I had the privilege of joining one of your Driven by Us events, and what really struck me was how the group of people that were there felt like it was a really safe place to be themselves And all of us here today, we are all part of a global ethnic majority. How safe is it in motorsport to be yourself?
What a question. Okay. You want to probably, I think one person can take that question. James, you want to go for it?
I think recently, due to obviously global events, I think it's more apparent you can be yourself. It wasn't always like that. Even dating back from automotive days when I first started, there were instances where personnel made comments about me having afro hair, which had to change, which obviously being a young engineer, you had to kind of feel like you can comply with. But nowadays, certainly in the last 3-4 years, certainly you can be yourself, you can be your own person, and it's something that I definitely encourage. So you don't adjust yourself to kind of fit into the environment and the industry you're working in. The team that you're working in should be accommodating to acceptance to yourself and your uniqueness and your individuality. So certainly challenge any questions that do come your way regarding any comments about yourself. And it's all about believing yourself, having that self-belief, confidence as well, having people that can support you and call out any issues that you face in the wherever you're working. So yeah, motorsport now is certainly improved and allowing people to be themselves for who they are and bring their uniqueness into the working environment, which is really good to see.
Do you want to add anything? Or?
Said pretty perfect.
Said it all. Said it all. Well, Biiftuu and James, let's give them a round of applause.